Hello and welcome to Your Next Move with Luann and Erica. Luann is on vacation right now, but we have today a special guest, Cam Lewis of Lower Mortgage. He is fantastic. We call him Cam the Man. So I'm excited to talk today with him, and he could tell you a little bit more about himself. But let's get right into our topic of the day, which is how to get into a home for lower interest rates in this time when interest rates are sticking in the mid sixes. How are builders and buyers able to finagle that so they can get into their home of their dreams at this time when things are a little precarious? So, in terms of interest rates. So, welcome, Cam Lewis. I'm excited to have you today.
Erica, thank you so much for your time this morning and for inviting me on. I'm super excited to provide some info and, as you called it, sweetening the deal. So we'll see if we can do just that.
Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. You gave me a whole information, and I'm excited about buyer buy downs. And when I talk to my first time home buyers, they are very confused as to all these offers that are made by new construction sites. It's crazy out there. They have all kinds of deals, but what does that mean? That's exactly what I get the question.
Yeah, and I know that there's a specific deal that I can bring up that we were talking about a couple weeks ago. But in basic terms, when a builder is building a property and they're selling their house, they can offer certain incentives. There's a couple different options. There's a 3-2-1 buy down, there's a 2-1 buy down, and there's a 1-0 buy down. These are kind of the main ones that we are going to look at. In the example that we were talking about the other week, I have it pulled up over here for reference. Let's do, kind of just vague numbers. This is a builder that I'm working with right now. He has a property that he's looking to sell at a $1.8 million purchase price. And for example reasons, let's say we're putting 20% down on this property. That's a loan value of 1.44 million. We'll call the loan interest rate at 6.5% because that's kind of where we are today.
Mhm.
That full monthly payment is $9,101 a month.
Ooh,
That can be a lot. That's also $1.8 million house, so maybe the buyer knows what they're getting into. But that's not always the case. Sometimes with these new construction communities, you might be priced below, half a million, and that's maybe where first-time home buyers are moving into. But what do the numbers actually look like in these buy downs? So for the 3-2-1 buy down, basically we're buying down that rate for the first 3 years. That first year, we're buying it down 3%. Second is 2%. One is one. And on that last and fourth year, we're back to the original cost. So what do those numbers look like? As we said, the rate or the monthly payment should be $9,101. Well, year one, you're only looking at a $6,466 monthly payment.
that's quite a difference.
That looks good, right?
Real good.
Year two, you're looking at $7,296. Year three, you're looking at $8,176. And back year four, once that buy down period is done, you're back to the $9,101. So
But
that's
oh, Cram, I'm sorry to interrupt you. But if you take this is just a thought. If you take
I'm listening.
the difference in the payments from the beginning and take advantage of the 3-2-1 buy down and take the difference and pay down your principal, you're not actually at the $9,100 because you paid down the principal with the extra money that you would have paid. And so when you get to the end, you can take advantage of that in that way. Just a thought.
See, well,
What do
that's why you're good at your job and why you're hosting the show today.
you?
Um, but yeah, in that instance, oh my gosh, that's great savings. How is that just coming out of thin air? It's not. It's an incentive that the builder is offering. You know how much it costs the builder in this scenario to offer a 3-2-1 buy down? $64,400.
Wow.
Erica, why would a builder want to give their buyer that much money?
Well, I have an idea that usually in new construction, when you're opening up a new neighborhood, you want to show sales. So they don't want the price of the home to go down. They'd rather buy down the rate and get people in there at the original price of the home, so the whole neighborhood looks like it's a $1.8 million plus neighborhood. They haven't messed with the actual numbers on paper for appraisal purposes, but they've actually allowed people to get in that may not have otherwise bought in a time when people are a little bit hesitant to buy. That's my thoughts on it.
Again, this is why you're the host today. Right on, 100%. I mean, it's another aspect you can look at it, $1.8 million house. Let's say it's not selling. What are they gonna do? They're gonna reduce the price on the property. They might bring it down to 1.7. They just lost $100,000
Exactly.
on their sale instead of being smart, thinking ahead, offering something that, yes, gives a little more guarantee that their prices are gonna stay higher and they're not gonna have to lower their comps for the future sale. And so, yeah, it's kinda like one of this it's betting on yourself, if you will.
Right.
The other options, the 2-1 buy down, kinda simple. You're doing it for 2 years. You're eliminating that 1st year in the 3-2-1. Same with the 1-0, you're just buying down that 1st year. Um, so that's a deal that I'm currently working on. It's really cool to see those numbers. Just as example for the 2-1 buy down, the builder is only putting up $32,000. For the 1-0, they're only putting up 11,000. So sometimes it can make more sense to at least offer something, you know?
Right, right. Well, I had another buyer buy in Chatham Park just recently. They're under contract, and we were able to get a lot of concessions, and they can use those concessions to buy down their rate. And in that case, we actually got a little more flexibility. We took some of the money off from the buy down rate to put towards upgrades, and we were able to get that rate down. But they didn't want to mess with the price of the home. Same thing. And
Yeah.
that's under 500,000, as you said. A lot of first-time home buyers or second home, younger people getting into the market in their 20s, 30s, are not gonna be well, they might be. I mean, might be in the millions, you never know. New York, depends on where you are.
Yeah, you never know. Hey, Raleigh's growing. Some of these
Yes,
kids are making some good money nowadays. You'd be surprised.
some good bank.
But to
Um,
your point, that brings on kind of my next, which is my favorite opportunity, Flex Cash.
ooh,
You can do a lot with Flex. I'm actually today I have a proposal with a community, 35 townhome community, and I'm proposing this Flex Cash option to them. And basically what that means is, like you said, these first time home buyers, you know, maybe they want a 3-2-1 buy down. Maybe they're staying in the house for 30 years and they would rather permanently buy down their rate. You
yeah,
don't want that decision to be up to the builder. You don't
right,
want that to be set in stone where, hey, you can only have a 3-2-1 buy down. What is flex cash? The builder, the lender, the builder, the team that's selling these communities is like, hey, you have X amount of cash that we're going to give you that you can put towards what you want. Okay, you can't go buy a new car with it. But what you can do is look at the options of permanent buy downs, temporary buy downs, and see what makes the most sense. Kind of like I said, if you're only going to live in the property for 7 years, why would you spend this cash they're giving you for a 30-year permanent buy down? When if you buy a 3-2-1, 2-1-1-0, you're saving that money out the gate. If you sell the property, you just got a heck of a deal. So there's a lot of options, and that's where it comes in place where you have a good lender and a good lending team that can be there for you and say, hey, maybe we should put our money here. Maybe we
that's
should
what I'm
put it
talking
here.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then most people, if you didn't know, stay in a house around 6 years and then make a transition, especially in their younger years as they're transitioning through their careers. People tend to stay, I don't know, it might be less now, but people tend to stay at a job or an area about 5, 6 years and then they move or transition. Or they don't have kids, then they have kids, and then they and then their kids go to college. These are like 6, 7 year increments. You start, you're married, you have babies, 6, 7 years, the house is too small, you move into a bigger house, you know what I'm saying? Or you got a promotion so you can afford more. So that's how the 6 year increments work out in terms of like life. And then like another 6 years, your kids are in high school. Maybe you wanted to go to the high school. Now we moved because we wanted to go to the new high school. And then you go empty nest, you might want to downsize. So all these are like 6, 7 year increments. Um, I know it's kind of weird to think about it like that.
It is. Well, Erica, question for you. If you were to buy this $1.8 million house,
Yep.
what would you want? Would you want permanent buy down? Would you want a 3-2-1? What?
So if I'm buying a $1.8 million home, it's more my forever home. It depends on what stage of life I'm in. Like I'm in the stage where I don't know if I'm going to be living here in for sure in 30 years. So I wouldn't do the permanent buy down for sure. But
Yep.
I definitely think a 6 year, the shorter term buy down, the 3-2-1 buy downs are very sexy, as they say. They're very good because you don't know where you're going to be in 10 years. So at my age, we think in smaller increments, not like in my 30s when we were buying a 30-year mortgage. I now think of 30-year mortgages as no one was really staying in a home for 30 years, but I will say that this house that we built with our when we first came to North Carolina, we've been here over 20 years now. But we did move. We bought another house, we moved out, we rented it, so it's a little bit of a different situation. We also have our interest rate right now under 3%. I know, Kim. So the house is
Well,
kind of big, but hey, we're not going anywhere.
no, no, you guys are in the perfect spot, and I mean, similar to what you said, if I were to buy a house tomorrow, I would probably do a temporary buy down on the front end because
Right.
who I'm probably not gonna stay in it for 30 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we're offered these. You know, there's always options out there. Looking on the non-builder side, just a normal seller that's selling their home, they
Hmm.
can do a lot of these similar things. They can offer cash up front if their property's sitting on market for, X amount of time that they don't want it to be on market for.
Right.
They can offer these buy downs. They could
Right.
offer a permanent discount point. What they can offer to also do that I've often seen for first-time home buyers or people that may not have all the cash on hand, but hey, they're still getting approved to purchase this home. Hey, the seller can offer to help pay with closing costs. That is
Right.
huge,
Right.
huge for first-time home buyers.
And I've
And
seen some houses that have been a little stale on the market. They partner up with a mortgage company. They say, "Hey, we can do this. We can do this, this, and the other." Instead of lowering the price, as people always want to lower your price as the first uh, line of defense, right? But
mhm,
sometimes you might think about instead of lowering your price, offering these packages, $10,000 towards closing costs, or if you people don't like a certain thing about your house, they keep commenting on the rugs. Credit towards rug improvements, like
yep,
little things like
yeah,
you wanted a fence. Everybody's saying you want a fence. Oh, we'll give you a $6,000 credit towards a fence. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever you want to improvements. But that's happened before on houses that have been sitting there and getting a lot of feedback on certain things. So it's like, oh, okay, we priced it out. Here's how much it would cost, and we're willing to offer a concession on that. And that's another way. But the rate buy down is fantastic if you can help. How much would a homeowner who's currently in their home, if they're going to help somebody buy down a rate, and advertise that, like how much that costs them? If it's a
yeah.
like
So
a $900,000 house, you know what I mean?
yeah, so if it's a not, and a general rule of thumb is a buy down point is 1 point, which is 1%. And that's going to be about 0.25% a quarter of a rate. So if it's a $900,000 home, they're paying about $9,000 to buy down about a quarter of that rate. Now, over time, that can save them a lot of money. And what I think is neat is to the point that you were just talking about, it all comes down to the buyer. I mean, literally, it could be a deal, funny scenario, but hey, maybe the buyer's like, I want this house, but I want you to add a hot tub in the backyard.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll spend $5,000, put a real nice hot tub in the backyard, and I won't have to spend $15,000 to give you cash to close, blah, blah, blah. Like it's all negotiations, all being prepared. You have a point.
Yeah, this is one thing I always caution my sellers when I'm listing is like when somebody's asking for seller's concessions, some people get a little bug about it, is that when you give somebody seller concession, you're still paying commissions on the full price. Just
That's where the
FYI.
best.
So people are like, "Oh," so sometimes it's better to give a rate buy down or something like that. I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but I had one exact client that very very wealthy and wealthy for a reason because they know how to save their coins. Okay, they were very sensitive to the fact that if we gave a credit or a credit that the total amount is what everybody's getting their commission on. He was very sensitive. So I basically said, we can work it out a different way. You can actually fix it or bridal credit. Anyway, so I'm getting on a rampage. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Just be careful of that.
Oh, 100%. And also, I mean, we're talking all about seller and builder concessions and
Mhm.
giving towards these buy downs. Well, it's something the buyer can do as well.
Okay.
If the buyer wants to buy down a point of their rate, sure. Does this make sense for every buyer? No. Does it make sense for some? It could. You know,
Right.
what I kind of see in that scenario is, hey, if it's I was working on a $400,000 house last week, and we were looking at discount points, buying down the rate. Do you want to spend $4,000 right now to buy this down to save X amount over the next 30 years? Maybe you could put that $4,000 in the stock market. Maybe you're a savvy investor and
Hmm.
you'd end up making more money off of that than what you would save on your mortgage. So
Maybe
it
cash is
all
king, right? Cash is king.
cash is king. Why would you want to give it up? So yeah, again, it all comes down to the borrower and their situation. But what's so awesome about all these scenarios is they have options.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people don't think about it. When first time home buyers going to buy a property, they're thinking about the house, the location, the price, they're not necessarily thinking, okay, how can I not manipulate it, but how can I be real savvy about how I'm getting my mortgage?
Right. Well,
I think we
I
should
mean,
have seller side mortgage
and I like
lenders.
that temporary buy down because you're not locked into a 30-year and it's probably less expensive to buy it down for a couple years. Make sure your job is stable. That's a big thing because people are moving to certain areas, buying in. Maybe they're a professor or a doctor in a hospital. Maybe they're going to move. Maybe they just want a temporary one buy down to help them with the rate for a second. You can do that as a buyer as well, right?
Yeah, and I think like we're saying for first time home buyers too, oh my gosh, what a time it is. Everyone's so there's such a stigma against everything being too expensive. You have the opportunity to go to a new construction community, have these awesome discount points handed to you up front. You've already approved for the mortgage. You can save that cash that you would be paying the first couple of years, and now you're sitting on cash is king. So
Equity's gone up in your home, hopefully, because I mean the trajectory is still pretty going up in the area. It may not be as fast as it was, but it's still going up. So the question is, people ask themselves, is this a time to buy right now? And I say it's always a good time to buy, and don't let the rates stop you from buying a home. You can always get into a home, but let me tell you, the price of the home today may not be the price of the home tomorrow. The inventory that's happening right now, there's still overall a shortage of housing in the Research Triangle area, if you can believe me. Certain areas are hotter than others, and there's a lot of new construction, but still, the trajectory of people moving to this area is very high. So if you can get in right now, don't let the rates stop you. Right, Cam?
yeah, of course, and you got to look at it glass half full. If people are scared, they think rates are too high. Maybe you're in a better position. If rates were lower and everyone was making offers right now, you might not be able to get a house. So
Exactly. So if
you got to take
everybody is
advantage of what
doing
you
it,
got.
take advantage of the fact that people are running a little bit scared right now. Buyers are have a little bit more leverage. There's more inventory and choices on the market. You can buy down that rate. You can get a temporary buy down. Take advantage and don't be scared. Do it scared. That's our theme for today. And I wanted to thank Cam Lewis for coming on and talking about all the things that he knows. If you want to talk more with a mortgage broker who knows what he's doing with these mortgage buy downs, Cam is the man at Lower Mortgage, and we were happy to have him today. And let's just say, if you're ready to make your next move, come to Erica Berry. I'm Erica Berry, Caldwell Banker HBW out of the Triangle, and we are happy to help you make your dreams come true and your next move. Thank you, Cam, for joining us today.
Erica, you're phenomenal. You're a better podcast host than I am. I got some things to learn from you.
I don't think so. You got some heavy hitters on your show, though. So if you want to look at his podcast, definitely I'll put a link below where his podcast is. He's got some heavy hitters that he's interviewed and some inspirational podcasts himself. So thank you so much and have a great day. And we look forward to seeing you next week on Your Next Move with Erica and Luann. And hopefully Luann will be back. Have a good job. Have a good day.